Lots of rumors for Canelo's next opponent, but who will it be? Please like and subscribe. Help us hit 10,000 subscribers. Share on all forms of social media. Welcome to another episode of Sunday Morning Champion. Canelo is going to fight on September, as per Oscar De La Hoya and Golden Boy. Lots of rumors are floating around. The latest is Jaime Munguia. They go along with Demetrius Andrade, Sergey Kovalev, Triple G, Jamal Charlo. Those seems to be the top 5 options. The other name that is being floated is Caleb Smith. That seems not to be likely, at least at the moment. That kind of has been ruled out. Not likely going to happen. Let's take a look at the pros and cons and the likelihood of the top 5 names. And we will break them down in order of the most likely to the least. The most likely is the newest name, Jaime Munguia. This is an even money fight to take place. There's a 50-50 chance that this fight is going to happen next. It makes too much financial sense to pass up on it. Oscar keeps the whole dang thing. He keeps all the money in his pocket. He's wanted this fight. He has kind of groomed and primed Munguia, who's not very good, by the way. Completely overrated for this fight for over a year now. We knew this fight was coming. It's why Munguia is still with Oscar. It's just that, look, the fight makes a ton of sense. It's just that Munguia isn't very good. He lost his last fight to Hogan, let's be real. He didn't look good against Inoue before that. Canelo would have a fairly easy night of it. Of all the fights on this list that we're going to get into, I think this is the fight I would want to see the least. By far, it's the least competitive. It's non-competitive. It's the least intriguing. And I guess because of that, it has the greatest chance of happening. I do. If I had to pick, gun to my head, one of these fights I think is going to happen. I think it's going to be Munguia. It's easy to make. Munguia has to move up to 60 now or very soon. And look, Munguia is not going to be good at 60. So whoever he fights, if he fights any high caliber name at 60, anyone on the Golden Boy side, anyone on the Eddie Hearn matchroom side, he's going to lose. So let Oscar have him lose to his guy. Keep the money in his pocket. Maybe he can use it as a learning experience. He's not going to be great as a middleweight, at least in the immediate future. So why not cash in on the Mexican Independence Day thing and Mexican versus Mexican? It'll do well. I'm just not into it, and it's not a good competitive fight. I say there's a 50% chance this fight happens. The second best option, Sergey Kovalev. This is the fight I think Canelo wants. His shot at greatness. He wants to jump up to 175 and take out the biggest star in the division. Like, hey, kudos to him. He's in the prime of his career, and this is what he wants to do. I think if it were completely up to Canelo, and you let him pick his next opponent, with no advice, no nothing, everything's the same, pick your opponent. I think he picks this fight. And it could happen. I'm into it. I know recent history, Burke getting knocked out by Triple G, what happened with Mikey Garcia and Spence, Riggin down Loma, jumping up 2 weight classes doesn't bode well. So history would say this is not going to bode well for Canelo. But look, Kova's 36. He could age overnight. And Canelo is peaking. So you got one guy at 36 and one guy at 28 just hitting his prime. This could be interesting. I think Canelo would have to fight the fight of his life. He would have to be absolutely clicking that night. And be very careful. But if he executes the game plan perfectly, I think he can get past Kova's jab, and I think he can pull this thing off. You guys tell me, am I getting suckered in again? Would he get iced? Is he too small? Look, he's 5'8", 5'9", Kovalev 6'2", or whatever. Does he just get iced? But look, this fight could get made. And if Kovalev really wants this, and if Kovalev looks at this like, look, I'm a light heavyweight. He's a middleweight. This is easy work and a hefty payday. I want this fight. Make this happen. They pay Yard some step-aside money, $2 million maybe, whatever. It's still worth it for me. It's easy work. I'll fight Yard next. This fight could happen. If Kovalev really wants it, and Oscar can't talk his guy Canelo out of it, this could happen. There's a realistic chance this could happen. I'd say about 20%. Third option, Triple G. This is the safe one. This is a safe bet. The first two fights were very close, very competitive, very controversial. They were excellent fights, entertaining fights. They were entertaining. They did very well from a pay-per-view standpoint, a spectator standpoint. Obviously, this would be a pay-per-view. It would be on the zone. Lots of new subscribers. It's the safe fight. You can't go wrong with this fight. It could happen, although I'm not in love with it. Obviously, I'd watch it. You have my money, though. Triple G has gotten 2 cracks at Canelo and hasn't gotten a win. He looks worse. Canelo looks better. Triple G looks to be past his prime. Canelo seems to be peaking. I think Canelo won the last fight. I actually think he won both fights. But, I think Canelo won the last fight and wins this fight wider. And maybe gets the stoppage. I'm not a huge fan of the trilogy. I think, just from my standpoint, it's less competitive and less suspenseful than the previous two. But it's easily made. We know it's going to be a success. It's probably going to be entertaining. And if you're Triple G, you're still a big star. You still have a big fan base. And you can. This is probably a lucrative fight still. It is a lucrative fight still. And if you're Triple G, you think you won both fights. And there's a lot of people out there who think he won one, if not both fights. Probably the majority of the people think he won both fights. So, I'm not one. I'm in the minority on that. So, it's very makeable. It's very lucrative. And we know that they've given us 2 good fights in the past. I say there's a 15% chance this fight happens. So let's go to the 2 sleepers. The 2 long shots. Number 4, Demetrius Andrade. This could happen. It's a great fight. It really is. This I think would be probably, besides Kovalev, the toughest fight on the list. Andrade is a long, rangy southpaw, and he could be trouble for Canelo. He could implement what Lara and Trout used to frustrate Canelo. And let's be real. Lara beat Canelo. Trout was very close. I scored both those fights against Canelo. And when Jacobs was winning rounds, when Jacobs was giving him trouble, what was Jacobs doing? He's fighting out of a southpaw stance. So he became a long, rangy southpaw. We're talking about Jacobs. A long, rangy southpaw with pop when he was fighting from the southpaw stance. Well, that's what Andrade is. Andrade is a tall, long, rangy southpaw with pop. Andrade would give Canelo a lot of trouble. It would be a close nip and tuck kind of fight that would go to the scorecards. Andrade has the style that I think is all wrong for Canelo. This fight is highly likely. It could be made. Eddie and Oscar are beefing right now, but they know they need each other. They're going to have to work together. It's a unification fight. Canelo wants that belt. There's a chance this could be made. It's makeable. It's a good fight. It's a unification fight. I say 10% chance that this fight is made. And now we go to the absolute long shot, Jamal Charlo. This would have been a hot fight. It would be somewhat of a middleweight unification fight. It would be a WBC middleweight unification fight, right? The winner would be the real WBC middleweight champ. It seems unlikely because Charlo's been the mandatory since Canelo had the belt. Actually, since before Canelo had the belt and he hasn't gotten the fight. Oh, this would have a natural home in Houston. We've talked about it before. Charlo and Canelo have both fought there and done well there. Minute Maid Park would be the absolute perfect home for this fight. Outdoor fight, great atmosphere. You have the superstar with a big fan base versus the hometown guy who just did great numbers there in what you could tell is a great fight. Here's the problem. The problem is Jamal Charlo. First, he's on the wrong side of the promotional street with PBC. However, that's a hurdle. It's an obstacle, but that wouldn't stop the fight from being made. The fight could get made. There's too much money in it not to get made. It'd be a little tougher, but that's a hurdle. It wouldn't stop the fight from being made. But Charlo, who's my guy, I'm a big Charlo fan. Jamal Charlo has not looked good. He looked terrible in taking a close decision over Korobov. And then again, in his homecoming fight in Houston, which sold very well. He did not look good in it. He had his fans there. His fans showed well for him. But let's be real. He did not look good against Brandon Adams. And that is not a top-notch fighter. He tried to load up and get the stoppage, and he couldn't do it against a guy like Adams, who made a miss. Look, look, Charlo is become his own worst enemy here, right? Like he's got the name, he's got some appeal, he's got a fan base. He just hasn't looked good, and he's giving people no reason to think that he can win this fight. You know, a year ago, this was a hot fight. People would have been big on this fight, and many would have picked an upset. But his last two fights has really, really pulled him back. The Korobov fight and then the Adams fight, he has not looked good. He has not looked like someone who can compete with Canelo. You know, he's been his own worst enemy. He's progressively getting worse. Now, look, I think he can fix it. I think there's a lot of talent there. But he needs to do better than he did against Brandon Adams. It was not a good performance. It's not helping his cause. I think this fight could happen. I say there's about a 5% chance. But let me know what you guys think. Let me know who you want him to fight, and let me know who you think he will fight. Please remember to like and subscribe. Share on all forms of social media. Help us hit 10,000 subscribers for another episode of Sunday Morning Champion. From Texas to the world, this is 3D Boxing signing off, saying thank you and God bless.
Enjoy 3D Boxing vlog videos? Show us some love by clicking the like button. Don't miss a tweet, post, story, or video. 3dboxingvlog.com is also on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hit the subscribe button now to stay inside the ring.